Okay. Tentacles and occultists. Sounds like a great combination, doesn't it?
Who goes there?
Well, probably just
That
us.
nightmare again. I need a drink.
Yeah, let's first have a quick look at our character points. So we're back at the Hawkins mansion, which is awesome. Let's... What are we putting points into? I got 4 available. I think I was putting them all in investigation. Alright, so let's do this, and then it's just waiting for 1 character point until we're done. So we had the Macabre Discovery, which is part of our sanity, and... Oh, mental trauma, darn it. The death of Francis Sanders. Oh, it's actually looking way better now, with the lights on. Alright, let's get down here. There probably should be somewhere.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Like, absolute crazy.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Well... Sarah was the object of an occult, which you can't do because we don't have the things yet. Let's talk to Bradley first. Did you see Charles was alive, Charles?
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
I hope so. Please let me have... Your memory seems to be failing you.
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital, and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
Okay, which is kinda strange.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Okay, so... Let's talk to her. So, I saw dead bodies.
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes. I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan. And I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
So... Did he found Riverside?
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
Yes, or there anything we can ask? No, we can't. So, I might be onto a lead.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
Well, he's out of let's keep it at this. The Shambler.
I didn't see what, but something was there, with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
Then that is exactly what we'll be doing.
That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
Will
I don't
do.
agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
Let's stay prudent for now. And just kinda go around it instead of just saying, hey, your men flow against first a fence, then against a light, and then was bent in certain directions human body shouldn't go, and then he fell dead to the floor, and he was talking about some crazy thing that was supposed to be there with us called, I don't know, the Scrambler or something like that. And then he fell dead, and that was all really, so let's stay prudent.
Right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say I don't want to go back there at all.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Alright, let's go there then. Let's leave. Hopefully not get ambushed by anything. Right, Chapter 6, Sanders residents. Pierce, Colton and Bradley decide to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. Alright, so it might be a painting or like a statue of some sort that he has collected from Sarah and placed in his house with that name that he thinks is actually visiting her and her. Don't knock like that.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Oh,
Well, look
cat.
who's here.
Alright.
You know each other.
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
Kinda, but also kinda not. Like, I don't plan to tell you everything, really.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings.
I feel some jealousy coming. And indeed, Cat
Please
looks
forgive my
really
tone.
nice.
The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned.
Oh,
You, on
really?
the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
So, he must not feel guilty.
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind.
I
I need
absolutely
to
understand.
How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
There wasn't really anything I could do. I think it's fair to say that the culprit is Fuller.
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
No problem. So, did he speak to you of a shambler?
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Completely
Thank you,
understandable.
Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
I completely understand. Like having a gallery that is basically filled with your
The day
husband's
the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
collection. Oh, reconstruction. Didn't think I would find it here. Alright, so there's a cup of tea here.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
Maybe. Who knows? There we go.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
I don't know. If only I knew. If only I knew.
A house of artists.
What did she fear more than anything? This is the painting, isn't it? Or the
He
painting in
finally
paper?
won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
I don't know. I don't think so.
She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel?
I think it's more important to know what
Was she jealous?
she's
of Sarah
thinking.
Hawkins?
Thing than necessarily